What's up, everyone? We're back with another Warrior video. By the way, if you haven't watched the show, you're fucking up. You're simply fucking up. Go watch the damn show. Anyways, in today's video, we're breaking down what many consider the single best fight in Warrior, Ah Sahm versus Yong. If you disagree, let's settle this in a friendly manner in the comment section. So this fight takes place in an episode called Chinese Boxing, which is the penultimate episode in season 1. The premise is fairly simple. The Longzi have been distributing opium, thereby violating the treaty that they had with the Hop Wei. The two Tongs have been fucking each other up in the streets, leading to a lot of bloodshed and drawing negative attention towards Chinatown. The war is bad for business, and as a result, the leader of the local Chinatown Business Association, Ting, wants to settle the beef before it gets too out of hand. Instead of an all-out war, Ting suggests that each Tong put up their best fighter and let them go head-to-head in an old-school duel.
Two fighters. The best from each of your tongs. A duel.
If the Hop Wei win, the Opium Treaty stands for another 5 years, which means the Longzi can't distribute in that time frame. On the other hand, if the Longzi win, then they get to carve out an area where they can sell opium independently. Pretty simple, right? The Hop Wei put up Ah Sahm as their fighter, and the Longzi select Yong. Let's fucking go. So now that we cover the backstory, let's jump into the fight and break it down scene by scene. We gotta first start with our local Chinatown cop duo as they're on patrol, Bill and Lee. So we first see Bill and Lee patrolling Chinatown at night, and for some reason it's just way too quiet. Bill is pretty happy for the lack of action, but clearly something is up.
Where is everybody?
I don't know, but I'm not complaining.
A Chinatown resident walks out and catches their eye, then quickly disappears into a back alley. Naturally, Bill and Lee follow. They quickly enter into this bustling back street where it looks like a mini street fair is going on. Food is being sold and people are out and about. As they walk deeper into the action, they notice everyone entering a building, so of course they follow. Once again, Bill is hesitant and he just wants to pretend like none of this shit is happening. He's a jaded Irish cop, what else do you expect? Lee, on the other hand, wants to explore further.
I suppose you're thinking maybe we should go in.
No, I'm thinking we should definitely go in.
As Bill and Lee walk down the stairs, we see this massive dungeon-like room. There are torches everywhere for lighting. We see this raised platform for battle. The place is already packed with more people flooding in every minute. So this is where all of Chinatown is. Both Bill and Lee are extremely shocked that this place even exists.
Did you have any idea this was down here?
Not a fucking clue.
To be honest, this basement coliseum thing looks so fucking cool. Reminds me of something straight from Mortal Kombat. Okay, perfect place to take a break and discuss.
Yeah, I mean, this fight is especially momentous, like you mentioned earlier, because of the stakes at hand. Interestingly enough, Tong actually translates to meeting hall, and the Tongs in the show are based off of the Hong Chow and Nin Young Tongs from San Francisco back in the late 1800s, which is kind of a cool little tie-in considering everybody is meeting here who is anybody in Chinatown. The throwdown is definitely a ceremonial throwback to the times when a classic 1v1 fight could determine the outcome of a massive power struggle, somewhat reminiscent of Trial by Combat via Game of Thrones, and you can feel the calm before the storm ushered in by all the ambiance of beating drums and lit flames around the venue. Let's go.
Okay, we now cut to Young Jun giving Ah Sahm a nice little pregame speech. Meanwhile, Yong is getting warmed up with Ling watching. Yong seems kind of troubled. He asks Ling if she's sure about this duel. Yong knows that only one fighter is walking out alive, so either Ling loses her lieutenant or her brother.
He's your brother. Only one of us is going to walk out of there.
So quick little scene showcasing both fighters preparing for battle. Damon, any quick thoughts?
Yeah, to me, Young Jun's pregame speech feels very bro to bro.
I know Father Jun won't say it, and I'll forget later, so I just want to say thanks.
Not loving Ah Sam's body language during the speech and the lack of stakes that I think he feels personally, he's essentially just fighting for a Tong that has not exactly treated him as family. And he's also going against a sister who he still loves and cares for deeply. This is mostly the Hop Wei's fight and Father Jun's, not his own. This is a huge theme that asserts itself as Warrior progresses through Season 1 and Season 2. So if you haven't seen them yet, I would highly recommend it. Go back and watch them immediately. Yong is definitely committed. He's worried either about killing Ah Sahm, Ling's brother, or dying himself and failing Mai Ling. But either way, we know that he's in love with Mai Ling and seems rock solid overall. Advantage to Li Yong as far as the pre-fight stakes go.
We now cut back to Bill and Lee standing in the crowd. Game time is approaching. Chow happens to spot them and tells them that this is merely some neighborhood entertainment. We see the Hop Wei, Long Zi, and Feng Hai are all present. The heavy Tong presence makes Bill skeptical that this is merely a regular prize fight. Atoy pulls up with her ladies and Chow goes to greet her. This is like the NBA Finals. All of the major celebs in Chinatown are present and courtside.
I don't know about this, but Rihanna just walked in front of me. Are you kidding me?
As Bill and Lee explore the crowd more, they see some fellow cops drinking and waiting for the show as well. Hey, the entire streets of Chinatown are empty, so shit, might as well just chill and watch some entertainment. So far, pretty lighthearted, but we know shit's about to get dark. What are your thoughts, Damon?
First off, isn't that just classic Chow? Goes from chopping it up with the local enforcement to double fisting while paying his respects to the biggest power players in Chinatown. He is maybe my favorite character in the show. He's likable, entertaining, and he's like if Varys from Thrones, to reference Thrones once again, had a heart and charisma all in one.
This man deals weapons to the tongue. Shouldn't we be shutting him down?
Shut me down. But I am friend to police. You ask Big Bill, he tell you.
All of a sudden, the crowd quiets down and we see Lao Ting get on the stage. Remember, none of the cops in the audience have any idea what he's saying. Lao Ting says that this is a sacred ritual of our ancestors. This fight will settle the Tong dispute.
This is a sacred ritual of our ancestors. A means for the Tongs to settle their disputes while maintaining peace in the region.
Damon, real quick, I'm Chinese and I have never heard of this type of ritual, but hey, I'm Mandarin, so I might just have to ask my Cantonese friends if this is indeed a tried and true tradition.
Finish him.
As Lao Ting finishes his intro, both Ah Sahm and Li Yong enter the ring. It's about to go down. Bill recognizes Ah Sahm immediately. The entrances of the two fighters is pretty cool, by the way. Ah Sahm walks out and holds his fist up to the crowd and stares down Li Yong. Meanwhile, Li Yong starts in a crouch with one fist on the ground and then slowly glares up at Ah Sahm before getting up. He even gives Ah Sahm a courtesy Chinese martial arts bow. Ah Sahm doesn't return the gesture. Must be the rude American side of him, Damon. So before the fight begins, a few monks start to chant and do some ritual stuff before tying sashes onto both Ah Sahm and Li Yong. Meanwhile, Chow brings Bill and Lee some beer, but Bill refuses. Bill asks what the sashes are for, and Chow explains that whichever fighter takes the other's sash wins. Obviously, it's way more savage than that, but the less the police know, the better. Bill can't resist getting in on some of the action, so of course he tosses 5 bills on the tall one.
5 bills on the tall one.
I actually went back and looked up what $5 would be worth in 1878, which is exactly when season 1 takes place. And that $5 is worth $150 today. So Bill is just casually throwing $150 on Ah Sahm without knowing shit about Li Yong. The writers did a great job illustrating how much of a gambling addict Bill truly is. The two fighters then get into their stances with their arms touching. Perfect place to take a break and discuss before the actual fight goes down. Side note, neither of us know anything about martial arts, so we're not going to be able to tell you what stance they're in or what style they're using. But if you do know, drop some knowledge on us in the comment section. We're truly interested.
Yeah, the scoring system is absolutely vibe-driven. With that being said, Li Yong wins the pre-fight body language hands down, determined, singularly focused. Ah Sam's always down to scrap, but he usually has laser focus to him, and I'm not seeing it here, man. If you've seen any of Ah Sam's previous fights, maybe not as formal as this one, but he tends to have a little more fire behind the eyes. You can tell the difference if you take a look. Bill taking Ah Sahm is also incredibly worrisome. With zero hesitation, he might be the worst gambler in TV or film since the man, the myth, the legend, Austin Powers.
5. I'll stay.
We're going to be scoring each round using our incredibly subjective and flawed system. If you look at the tail of the tape, Ah Sahm has a clear reach advantage due to his height. However, Li Yong spent more time operating as a disciplined fighter within his respective Tong, and his compact strength could be a factor here. Look for Ah Sahm to use his striking prowess to control the match and for Li Yong to use that strength advantage. Back to you, Chen.
Okay, now let's get into the breakdown of the actual fight. The fight starts and Ah Sahm is the immediate aggressor, putting Li Yong back on his heels. Ah Sahm first grabs Lee Yong's wrist to pull him in and then lands an immediate shin kick, which is the first blow of the fight, then follows it up with a strike to the face. Lee Yong blocks the next flurry, but Ah Sahm lands a tough elbow to Lee Yong's midsection, which almost sends him off the arena. Lee Yong then jumps back and charges Ah Sahm and manages to flip him onto the ground, but Ah Sahm does kick Lee Yong in the side and get himself back on his feet, but Lee Yong immediately lands a spinning kick after taking Ah Sam's kick. Both fighters are on their feet now, and Lee Yong charges Ah Sahm. Ah Sahm then unveils a scissor kick which keeps Lee Yong at bay, then lands another strike to Lee Yong's nose. Lee Yong blocks another Ah Sahm strike and almost flips him again, but Ah Sahm kind of does his own flip out of it. Just elite stuff from both guys right now. Ah Sahm then tries a back heel type of kick and Lee Yong catches it with his left arm. Ah Sahm quickly jumps and knees Lee Yong in the face with his free leg, thereby freeing himself. Lee Yong does manage to land a strike to Ah Sam's face, but Ah Sahm then counters with another shin kick, an elbow to the throat, and then another left hand strike to the face. Beautiful combos from Ah Sahm so far. He's in the zone. Lee Yong leverages his strength advantage to basically stiff arm Ah Sahm to the edge of the ring, and then lands a spinning back fist, but Ah Sahm immediately hits him back with a fist and a kick of his own. At this point, Ah Sahm is clearly taking control of this fight. By my count, Ah Sahm has landed about 11 strikes total. This includes kicks, elbows, and hand strikes. Lee Yong has only landed 3 shots so far. Ah Sahm starts screaming at Lee Yong, "Come on! Come on! Come on!" And you know what? Perfect time to take a break and regroup after this initial round. What do you think, Damon?
After that first couple minutes, it must be said, shout out to Andrew Koji and Joe Taslim for actually pulling this off. I hear they do like 95% of the stunts in Warrior for themselves, which is too legit, if anything. I'm scoring the first round here for Ah Sahm. Like you said, Chen, Ah Sam's got some nice opening strikes, man. He's showcasing that power. We can assume he'll lean on his classic strike-counter-strike combo. However, watch out for that Lee Yong inside position. I've read a couple articles talking about how Bruce Lee's fighting style is actually mirrored by Ah Sam's technique as the show progresses, and that the more that he progresses, it actually mirrors Bruce's own progress as a martial artist, which I think is really sick and hella meta. His form is supposed to grow less rough and showy and become more efficient, much like Lee's own style. So this is just kind of a cool little footnote for anybody in the audience who's not as familiar with the show.
We then cut to Bill and Lee, who are both in awe of the skill being displayed.
I don't know what the hell kind of boxing this is, but if they could all fight like this, we'd be in some deep shit.
Ah Sahm and Lee Yong re-engage, and this time the exchange is much more even. Lee Yong first charges Ah Sahm with a flying knee, which gets blocked, but he counters with a right-hand punch to Ah Sam's chest. Ah Sahm throws a bunch of combos back, and Lee Yong blocks most of them, but gets caught in the head with a spinning elbow. They both start throwing various strikes which get blocked until Ah Sahm lands a right-hand slap to Lee Yong's ear, and Lee Yong counters with a direct punch to Ah Sam's midsection. Ah Sahm tries to kick Lee Yong, but it gets caught, and Lee Yong lands a spinning backhand strike to Ah Sam's face. Lee Yong follows that up by sweeping Ah Sahm to the ground, but as Ah Sahm is falling, he connects on a spinning kick which sends Lee Yong to the ground as well. This exchange is much more even overall. Lee Yong is starting to get a read on Ah Sam's speed, but he's been hit so many more times that he's damaged. Right now, by my count, Ah Sahm has landed 14 total strikes to Lee Yong's 7 strikes, but in this most recent exchange, Lee Yong out-hit Ah Sahm 4-3. Bro, I feel like Joe Rogan right now. Let's take a break before I sound even less educated about martial arts.
Look, if you're Joe Rogan, then I'm Michael Cole. Scoring this round for Ah Sahm as well, but your points about Lee Yong's late momentum and the power of some of these strikes he's landing are completely valid. It's all about having enough gas in the tank here. No glove strikes. For these guys to be able to handle this many knuckle strikes like this, just incredible in terms of what this would actually feel like in the real world if this was non-fictional. Seems that all the counters and what these guys are leaving on the table for the other to take advantage of could be the tale of the end of this fight.
Okay, so back at it, we see Penny make her way into the arena and anxiously watch Ah Sahm. Bill notices and is like, what the fuck is she doing here? Both fighters re-engage and throw combos that get blocked. Lee Yong ends up tackling Ah Sahm to the ground. Once again, strength advantage seems to favor Lee Yong because he can just do more brute force stuff. Am I talking out of my ass? Maybe. Ah Sahm gets taken down but reverses the takedown by rolling backwards and ending up on top of Lee Yong. He immediately punches him 3 times before Lee Yong counters with a punch to Ah Sam's head. Ah Sahm starts grinding his elbow into Lee Yong's throat and then goes to break Lee Yong's right arm. But Lee Yong quickly counters with a left-handed punch and somehow throws Ah Sahm off of him. Incredible defense from Lee Yong. Both fighters are now standing when Lee Yong lands a stomach kick and a head kick on Ah Sahm. Ah Sahm is finally hurt, and Lee Yong then strings a 4-punch combo together and sends Ah Sahm to the ground. Youngjun is screaming at Ah Sahm to get up, and as Lee Yong arrives, Ah Sahm turns around and catches Lee Yong with a falcon punch to the solar plexus. Major fucking hit. Lee Yong doubles over and is clearly hurt. Youngjun is screaming, yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright, so far, Ah Sahm has landed about 18 total strikes. I'm not including the elbow throat grind or the arm break attempt because I just don't know what to do with that info. Lee Yong, by my count, has landed 15 strikes now. The fight was starting to become more even, with Lee Yong landing 8 strikes in that last exchange until Ah Sahm landed that major power punch. So let's discuss what's happened so far.
Yeah, that's a near even round for me. Lee Yong's been putting his all into some of these counters, but I mean, that last punch by Ah Sahm, what can you say? Should be noted that the Falcon punch was also a signature punch in a couple of Bruce Lee's movies. Style does look kind of similar, but coming from Ah Sahm, he's got a bigger frame, so it looks just a bit different. Still, excellent execution overall. Something that you have to give credit to for the showrunners, for the design, and how this was shot in general, this type of Chinese boxing yields itself to this aura of brutal realism that's also really impressive at the same time. Unlike other instances of martial arts on the big screen, this is incredibly realistic and you can almost feel the bone-crushing hits on the screen. If you haven't seen this show yet and you just somehow stumbled upon this, please, please, please go back and watch the season. You will not regret it.
So now with Lee Yong mangled from the Falcon punch, he's essentially helpless and Ah Sahm just tees off on him. Ah Sahm lands 7 punches to first send Lee Yong to his knees, pause, then drops him with a flying kick to the face. This shit should be over. Ah Sahm has now landed 26 strikes. That is a fuck ton of hits for someone to take in a fight. As he goes down and grabs Lee Yong's sash, a seemingly unconscious Lee Yong wakes up and kicks Ah Sahm off of him and gets back to his feet. Well, sort of. He's still pretty wobbly. That kick really hurt Ah Sahm though, because now he's wobbly too. It looks like Lee Yong has found his second win. So let's take a break. Total strike count so far is Ah Sahm 26, Lee Yong 16, but the tide seemed to be turning.
Ah Sam's lack of urgency definitely shows itself here. He gives his opponent just enough time to recover while gloating, an immature move that feeds into your classic fight scene tropes. I'm going to score this for Lee Yong because of the theatrics behind that final knockdown and the implications on the overall momentum. Are those tangible stats or legitimate score factors? Hell no. But like we said before, the criteria is subjective and Lee Yong is on the come up.
So we're now on to the final round. Ah Sahm tries to do what he's been doing all fight, throwing a softer first punch to then throw a harder counter, but he's got nothing left. And Lee Yong just slips the first strike and throws a double punch into Ah Sam's torso, sending him to the ground. Ah Sahm is clearly hurting. Lee Yong drops a gorgeous spinning kick to Ah Sam's face, knocking him down once more. Ah Sahm then gets up and takes 2 more shots to the face, then 2 to 3 more shots to the face. Then finally Lee Yong pulls him in and throws a nose-crushing punch. Ah Sahm tries to get up and takes another power punch to the face. At this point, Father Jun walks out and says this shit is over. Youngjun is devastated.
Where are you going?
He's finished.
No, he's not. He'll get up. Come on, Ah Sahm! Get up!
Ah Sahm is delirious and he's completely out of gas. He's basically a sitting duck. Lee Yong walks behind him and grabs his neck. Now, before we get into this final scene, which is really, really important, let's just summarize what we've seen so far. The fight is basically over. Final strike count, by my count, Ah Sahm is at about 26. Lee Yong finishes with 24, but that includes 1 double punch and just a bunch of wide open power strikes at the end. So even though Ah Sahm landed more hits, Lee Yong's punches were more powerful. What do you think, Damon?
Yeah, Lee Yong is the obvious victor in this decisive round, but it's never a good sign when the elder leader of the Tong says he's seen enough. That man is ruthless. Father Jun just sees Ah Sahm as nothing more than a talented hatchet man, which is a brutal truth that we all knew was coming. The finishing strike, essentially crushing Ah Sahm on the face, was ESPN top 10 material. That double punch was not far behind though. Love the use of the first-person camera during the fight exchange. Sometimes it really doesn't work, but here it does feel necessary to portray the fatigue and damage these guys are experiencing. No concussion protocols in this era, but I would say these guys are for sure at risk of some CTE. This has been quite a bloodbath.
Yeah, these guys are absolute animals. We're back to Lee Yong administering a choke from behind on Ah Sahm. Ah Sahm is absolutely helpless, and at first it looks like Lee Yong is going to choke him unconscious, but then he looks over at Ling, who fucking gives the subtle nod. Finish him? Both Ah Sahm and Lee Yong see this. Lee Yong's face is like, wait, did you just give the okay to... Meanwhile, Ah Sahm looks devastated, like man, his own fucking sister just gave the order for his death. So Yong shifts his hands and gets ready to snap Ah Sam's neck. Penny starts screaming and Bill and Lee freak out as they realize what's going to happen. Lee charges the ring and Bill pulls out his gun and fires a shot in the air.
Wait, what the hell is this? He's gonna break his neck!
The crowd scatters and Penny gets trampled in the process. Bill helps her up and gets her out of there. Atoy looks pissed as well, but she quickly leaves. Young-Joon scatters as well. A bloody but victorious Yong grabs the sash off Ah Sahm, leaving Ah Sahm defeated and alone in the ring. He's still alive though, but barely. So overall, Yong is victorious. Lots to process there, Damon. What the fuck?
One thing that really stuck out was Yong's hesitation, which you already mentioned. It's clear that Ling is definitely running the show and driving this whole thing at this point. Leave it to Bill to save the day. Regardless, both these guys will be laid up for a bit with Ah Sahm heading for a huge DL stint. He's safe to bench in all fantasy leagues for the time being. He is in worse shape than Batman after Bane broke his spine. It's also still cool to see the fighting styles call back to many of Bruce Lee's signature kicks, counters, strikes, and arm bars. There's actually that arm crossing movement that Bruce often does in pre-fight lead-ups that you see here from Yong as well. Huge implications. This tips the power dynamics of the show on its head. Still, we'd love to see a rematch in Season 3 for sure.
Yeah, 100% agree. Would love to see a rematch between these two guys in Season 3. As of the time of us producing this video, Season 3 has not come out yet, so we don't know if they're going to fight again in Season 3, but I do feel pretty good about that rematch potential happening. Anyways, thanks again for everyone who tuned into this video. Always appreciate the support, the comments, the feedback, all of that, and we'll catch y'all later.